Do a walkthrough of how to create a roof framing plan for our tiny home design using Autodesk Revit. What we're going to do is very similar to how we've done all of our other framing plans. We're going to go ahead and go to the View tab, and we're going to go ahead and create a drafting view. We're going to call this view the roof framing plan and ensure that the scale is set to 1/2 inch equals a foot, and select OK. We're going to move to the Annotate tab. We're going to select Detail Line, and we're going to choose a rectangle. On this one, we're going to go ahead and set this. The width of our rectangle is going to be 12 foot by 16, which is the same as our footprint. And what we're going to do here is now we're actually going to go ahead and select one of our lines. We're going to choose an offset. We want to go ahead and offset this by 1 foot. So for the overhang of our roof, so I'm going to go ahead and go around all 4 sides. You'll see the lines will connect to each other. So then that way these lines, what they represent is this is the outside edge of the roof. And then the inside lines are going to represent the boundary of the inside of our footprint of our building. Now, in order to make sure that we've got proper thicknesses of members being accounted for, I am going to grab that offset tool one more time. We're going to go ahead and do a 1.5 inch offset. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it right here to the inside of this line. And I'm going to go to the inside of this line. Same thing on these 4 outside edges. And then the other 2 that we're going to grab to is going to be down here on this bottom line, go to the inside. And the same thing here, we're going to go to the inside as well. This is going to be some rafters that are going to sit on top of our walls right at the edge. So just a little cleanup here on our drawing. I'm going to go ahead and do a trim extend single element. We want to trim back to on these. We want our flyer, what they call the flyer rafters, to be on the outside. We don't want to cut into those or anything. We want to make sure they look kind of decorative. So I'm going to go ahead and trim those back like so. And I'm going to do the same thing. Looks like it actually did it on both ends here. So as long as this line cuts back to where this one is, we're in good shape. All right, so one of the things we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to grab the offset command one more time. I'm going to change this offset to be 6 foot. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure it goes to the inside right in the middle of our line. And then on this one, we're actually going to go ahead and offset on each side 3/4 inch. So 3/4. And then on each side of this line, I want to go ahead and put an offset line to represent the thickness of what would be our ridge board. And I can go ahead and get rid of that middle line. Now, what's going to happen here is these 2 lines we just put in, I'm going to go ahead and do a trim extend multiple elements. I want to go to this line right here on the inside, and those are going to extend here and here. And then what's also going to happen, I'm going to cancel one time. I'm going to go ahead and do a trim extend one more time. I'm going to go on to the left side of this line, and I'm going to click these 2 lines. So there we can kind of see that. The other thing too that we're also going to have is actually what we can do is we can get rid of this left side line. And I'm going to go ahead and trim and extend to this line, these 2. So that way that'll show you where the rafters will connect. So here's the ridge board, here's the rafter where it connects, and then here's going to be the end board that we'll use to connect to as well. So a little bit of our trim board there to kind of help kind of cover those things up. All right, so then same kind of situation down here on the bottom. We're just going to do a little trim extend from here, these 2 lines. And then I'm going to cancel once, grab that tool one more time, go ahead and choose this left side of this line, trim these 2 back, cancel, go ahead and grab this and do these to extend these out. All right, so what's going to happen here is now that we kind of have our initial rafters kind of put in, is I'm also going to go ahead and grab the offset command, and we're going to set this value to be to 2 feet or 24 inches, either one. And on this rafter here, I want to go to the inside, so that way I can kind of see this line right here. I'm going to use the previous line to continue to add lines down just the left side of my framing plan here. Now, we do need to represent the thicknesses of those rafters. So I'm going to do a 3/4 inch thickness one more time. And on each one of these lines, on each side of it, I want to go ahead and place an offset line. Got 2 more. Again, just make sure, watch where those blue lines kind of appear, and that kind of helps. So I'm going to go ahead now, each one of these middle lines, I can go ahead and get rid of to delete. So that way it kind of cleans up our drawing here. Remember, those middle lines were just to kind of mark where the center of our framing members were supposed to be, or our rafters. And looks like we're in good shape there. So you'll see that what that did is that just finished out the left side of our framing plan. And what I'm going to do here is to do the right side. I'm going to go up here and grab the mirror draw axis tool. And the first thing it's going to look for is, what things do I want to mirror? So I'm actually going to do a little crossing window and select all these rafters here in the middle. I'm going to right click and select finish selection. And then it looks to me to draw a line. So I'm actually going to pick right up here. I'm going to see a midpoint, a little purple triangle will show up. I click. I'm going to go ahead and just go straight down all the way across down to the bottom until I see another purple triangle. And when I click again, you're going to see those lines are going to appear. And this will give us our framing plan that we need to know is of where our spacing is for our rafters and everything there. All right. So while we're here, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go down to the elevations. And I'm going to right click on the south elevation, duplicate view, and select duplicate. On this one, the name of it, rather than South Copy 1, I'm going to rename that to call this Rafter Layout. And then I'm going to go ahead and right click on this one, duplicate one more time. And on this one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to say, we're going to rename, rather than Rafter Layout Copy, I want to go ahead and put Flyer. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on the Rafter Layout. Make sure you're on the right one here. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab, I'm going to do a little crossing window here and just grab everything but that roof. So you'll notice even I picked that up, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to say hide in view elements. So that way the only thing I've got showing here is just the kind of the elevation view of the rafters. So I'm going to go to the annotate tab. I'm going to grab detail line. Using the line tool, I'm just going to trace over the outside edges of my roof elevation view. So then that way I can kind of see what these rafters look like, and I can get the right slope and everything. So now that I've got the lines completely traced on my view here, I can now go ahead and, like, for example, go to detail line. I'm going to choose the line tool, and I'm going to put a line right here between these points. And I'm going to go ahead and offset this, again, 3/4 of an inch on each side. I'm going to go ahead and put some lines here, which is going to represent the thickness of our ridge board. So I'm actually going to get rid of that middle line, and I'm actually going to go ahead and utilize the, go back to that annotate tab and utilize detail line, and have it where our boards are going to start to connect are right here at this kind of intersection. And the same thing, right, to our particular point, I can go ahead and kind of make these connect. So that's kind of what's going to go on here. I'm going to go ahead and extend this line down. I'm not really messing with any of the dimensions there. I'm just extending the lines down. So that way the bottom of the rafter is going to connect right to the bottom. And then the same thing here. I might have a line that kind of does this. But I'm going to see that there's where the ridge board would be, where the rafters are going to connect at the top and the bottom. The only other thing that I want to kind of lay out here is I'm going to choose the line on each side. I want to go ahead and offset. This is going to be now going to be 1.5 inches for the thickness. And I'm going to go ahead and offset this just so that way I can kind of plan for these and go to the insides on our rafters. Really what I'm going to do here is just do a little trim extend multiple elements. I'm going to choose the top line, choose this line, choose the bottom line, choose the middle. That'll cut that back for us. Same thing here. Choose the top line, choose the bottom line, then choose the middle of the line there, and that'll cut that back. So what that's going to do is that's going to give us a layout of what shape and everything our rafters should be at in order to make sure that they're going to connect to our ridge board, and then also leaving a little bit of a length there to be able to put on for some of our fascia and everything there that we're going to have. For the So that's the rafter layout. If we look at the rafter layout for the flyer, I'm going to do a very similar process. I'm going to hide a lot of the stuff here. So once I grab that, making sure I don't grab the roof, right click, hide in view elements. And really all that we're going to do here is the flyers are just kind of the outside decorative lines that we want to go through and have. So I'm going to annotate, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab a detail line. And I'm just going to go ahead and choose right down the middle. So really what we want is this signature line right here that just shows where the two pieces of the rafter are going to form, and just make that decorative looking piece. All right, so once we have those done, I'm going to go ahead and go down here to my sheets. The last drawing we did was A106. I'm just going to create a new sheet and go ahead and just select OK. It's going to be A107. The number doesn't matter as much as I'm just going to go up here. I'm going to grab my roof framing plan and drag it onto the sheet. It's probably not going to fit very well, so I might have to go over to the properties and choose rotation on sheet and go 90 degrees counterclockwise, and then kind of drag that onto the page. So that'll give me my roof framing plan. Good to go. And then I'm going to go up here to my rafter layout. I'm going to drag and drop it over. The scaling I might have to change to the 1/2 inch equals a foot scale. Just make sure that that's all showing up there. If that doesn't fit, which doesn't look like it's going to, we can always rotate it. So again, rotation on sheet, go 90 degrees counterclockwise. I can kind of fit that on there. And then I can always grab the little view label if I need to. Just make sure to click off of the view first. And then the same thing with the flyer layout. So I'm going to go and place this off the sheet here right now and just go ahead and change the view scale. And then go ahead and change the rotation on the sheet to be 90 degrees counterclockwise. Drag it onto the sheet. And then click off of it. And then you can move the little label there. So this will have all those in one sheet for you. So then that way you can print this off and then use this as a guide to start cutting and laying out your rafters for your roof of the tiny home